American Water Polo.
Hi, this is Damon Newman from American Water Polo, and we're here today to profile the club team Ridge Raptors. Let's see what Jacob Grant is doing lately. Hey, how you doing, Jacob?
Good. How you doing, Damon?
I'm doing well. We're hanging in there. So we just wanted to, say hello and profile your club, and I'll see how things are doing. Tell me a little bit about your club. Where you guys located? What age groups? Maybe the mission of the club team.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, first and foremost, thanks for having me on. I'm super excited to highlight our club.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are the Ridge Raptors. We practice out of Penridge High School's pool, but we are our own organization, so we just rent the pool time there. This is our first year as a program. Myself and the other head coach, Anita Whalen, we got together maybe 8-9 months ago and decided that our high school team needed to be taken to the next level, and the best way to do that was to start a club team so that they can continue to play year round. And our initial goal was a 18 and under boys team, 18 and under girls team, and then we wanted to get a 14 and under co-ed team in the league this year, just to start training them a little bit before they got to high school. But interest was awesome, and we ended up having those three teams, the 18 and under boys and girls, 14 under co-ed, and we actually also had a 12 and under co-ed team join this year in our first year for a total of like 63 athletes.
Wow.
So that was really exciting just to see the positive response.
That's great for your first year.
Yeah, we had a target number of actually 45. That's kind of what we decided would be necessary with what we wanted to charge in order for it to be feasible for us to cover costs of rentals, league fees, paying the coaches and all that fun stuff that comes with running an organization. And for the first month we were like, are we going to have 45? Are we not? And then a couple days before registration closed, this parent reached out to me and was like, hey, I know you don't have anything this year, but are you thinking about doing anything for even younger kids? She's like, I've probably got 12 to 15 families who would sign their 12 and under kids up. And I was like, I called up the other coach and I was like, hey, we have enough for a 12 and under team. Should we add them? And just like that, we were all the way up at 60, 61 kids. And I think our final number was 63 before everything happened and we shut down. But so it was really good turnout for the first year. Super exciting. We got about a month of practice in before we had to shut down. But it was good. I mean, just like you asked though about the mission, we want to, just summing it up, we want to develop kids, to love the sport, to advance their water polo skills, to incorporate teamwork into their daily lives and principles of good sportsmanship. We wanted to provide a fun and supportive environment to promote the growth and the success of the sport in our community, but also expanding, what was already in our community with, in aquatics. Was rather than just swimming, we wanted to introduce water polo because, the high school has the opportunity for both.
Excellent. That's great, Jacob. I mean, I think that's it's really important to instill those values in your young athletes.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Kids use teamwork so much, throughout their lives, and it's something that they're going to continue on, whether that's through work or having a family, and that we want to help instill in them from a young age.
Great. So, what have you been doing lately? During these times to keep yourself busy. Kind of take me through what your day looks like.
Well, my day is pretty long because I don't have much to do when it comes to a job wise. I'm the aquatics director at the high school, and with the high school being shut down, I can't do anything when it comes to that, but trying to keep myself busy. I love to cook. So I've been cooking meals for my roommates and myself, just trying to keep myself busy there. One of my roommates is a nurse. The other is an engineer. So the nurse obviously is to and from work frequently. And then the engineer's at home. He's out in the other room right now. I try and do a lot of cooking. I've been making some fun meals. We tried to create at-home Chick-fil-A sandwiches. So fried some chicken, found a copycat recipe online and gave it a go. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, it was pretty good.
Oh, all right, good, good.
Um,
Yeah, that's something that's Chick-fil-A sandwiches are delicious. I don't know.
yeah,
It's hard to
man.
it'd be hard to beat that one.
Absolutely. I've also tried to pick up a new hobby of baking. I can cook pretty well. Never really baked anything before, but in the last couple weeks, been baking. Made a red velvet cake, some cookies, brownies. Uh, made My roommate and I made Buckeyes yesterday. Do you know what Buckeyes are?
No.
They're just like peanut butter balls dipped in chocolate, but it's like you gotta add some different ingredients to make the peanut butter consistency. They're delicious. They're so good. They're sitting in the fridge right now. Every time one of us goes in the fridge, it's like, hey, grab me one of those, would you?
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, but
So,
sorry, go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. So have you had an opportunity to touch base with your athletes, or do you know how they're holding up, during everything?
Yeah, we use Remind to communicate with athletes and parents. So just kind of sending out some encouraging messages, reaching out to kids, giving them some different ideas of things that they can do at home. We've sent out some YouTube videos of just different skills that they can do on dry land, for them to get as much training in as they can to try and continue the growth. Like I said, this is our first year, and we were making really good progress in that first month. I mean, I would probably say 30 of those 60 kids are brand new players. Have never played the sport before. So just different passing drills they can do against the side of their house.
Right.
Some of them have bounce backs. So I've gotten a few pictures of kids out in the yard, passing the ball with themselves on the bounce back. So it's yeah, just try to keep in contact with them, but try and stay positive for them and let them know we're thinking about them in this time.
Great. So as a coach, like, give me one of your, what do you think a really good, dry land exercise is for an athlete, maybe a situation where they can't find a pool, maybe something you really like to do as a coach.
Well, I think for me specifically and our club specifically, the biggest thing we're trying to instill is ball control. We Catching and passing does not come naturally to everybody. And so there's definitely some skills outside of the water that you can learn, that aren't necessarily conditioning skills, but just helping with that. One of my favorite ones is just grabbing a ball and seeing how many passes you can get back and forth to the wall without dropping it. Starting out, about 6 inches from the wall, just quick little flick of the wrist, trying to get, 100, 200 every day in, just to maintain that back and forth feeling, ball in your hand. But also another really good one that we sent out yesterday was the one where it's trying to learn to catch crossface against a wall. One, because of the speed that it comes back at you, bouncing against a wall rather than somebody throwing you that ball when you throw it. And so basically what you do is you stand next to the wall, not in front of it, and you have your hand out in front of you, and obviously you're trying to catch crossface, so you pass it across your face, and then when it bounces back, you have to bring it back across the face and behind the head. So that was a good one that Coach Whalen, we actually call her Coach Mom. She's got a couple kids on the team, so all the kids have taken to calling her Coach Mom. So that's what they'll know who I'm talking about when I say that. Coach Mom sent that video out yesterday for the kids to just to practice and have something for them to do.
Yeah, that's great that you're keeping that connection, you're keeping them, you're keeping things fun, you're keeping things positive for the athletes, because they they're unable to get in the water, and they need to keep the ball in their hands, and doing those types of things I think is really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are you looking forward to the most, getting back in and working with your athletes on the deck?
One, I think a big test is going to be for a new club is how we bounce back, with seeing where we need to go back to, seeing how much they've retained over this break, seeing if, they have been practicing outside of the water. But, I'm looking forward to being around the kids again. It's obviously everybody's trying to isolate right now and not have that human interaction. But one of the big reasons that I got into coaching was I love interacting with with the kids, and I love working with them and seeing them learn something new and seeing them grasp a new concept or a new skill, and just seeing the joy that it brings them, is something that I really enjoy. So that's something that I've been missing, is just that, and I'm sure everybody's been missing, but that human interaction.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I completely agree with that. So just to wrap it up here, what do you think? Do you have any you say you're really into cooking, you're getting into baking. Do you have any good books you think that would be beneficial for athletes to be reading upon their other doing other work that they have to do for school as well?
Yeah, I actually personally have not read the book, but when we talked about this, my brother is a soccer coach at Belmont University down in Nashville.
Okay.
So he coaches in the college ranks, and I was like, hey, give me some books to read during this quarantine isolation time. So I actually haven't read it yet, but it's on my list to read. It's called Make Your Bed. And it's by Admiral William H. McRaven. He is an admiral in the Navy, and he actually gave. I haven't, like I said, I haven't read the book, but I've watched his commencement speech from the University of Texas back in 2014, where this book is based on, and where I think he got the idea for this book. And it's like I said, it's called Make Your Bed. He just talks about what. Basically how to change the world. And one of the big things that he gave in his speech that was really impressive was just a list of things where he would start every statement with, if you want to change the world. And then he would make the statement. So I have a few here. If you don't mind, I'll read them to you.
Yeah.
If you want to change the world, sometimes you have to slide down the obstacles head first. And then he would go into a story about his time in basic training, where there was this obstacle course that they had to do, and the time record had stood for years before his class got there. And the last thing on the obstacle course is a almost like a rope slide, where you start 3 stories in the air, and there's a rope, and you have to get to the other side of the rope, and it's 1 story in the air, so it drops 2 stories over a course of 200 feet. And normally, he said, everybody goes, put your hands on the rope, and you go hand over hand to get there, and you basically just rappel yourself down this rope. And he said this one kid really wanted to beat the record, and he took the risk and put his feet up over the top of the rope and went down head first and kind of just shimmied down it, slid down the whole thing, and he ended up blowing the record out because he tackled that obstacle head first. Just a little cool story about that. And he has a whole bunch of other ones that he gave to about if you want to change the world here or there. But the big thing with Make Your Bed was, if you start your day by making your bed, even if you go through the rest of your day and you don't accomplish one thing, or you don't, your day doesn't go as planned, at least you can come home knowing, hey, I started my day accomplishing one thing off of my list. And it's just a good way to start your day and be mentally strong. And he's like, there's nothing better than getting to a made bed at the end of your day.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The general has a good point on that one.
Yeah. So, like I said, I haven't read the book, but it is on my list to read. And
yeah, that sounds like a good recommendation from your brother. And I'm sure people out there are looking for some good reads, some good inspirational work, and things that are going to connect with our athletes.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Hey, Jacob, I really appreciate the time. We really enjoyed learning more about the Ridge Raptors. And this is Damon Newman from American Water Polo. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and our website, AmericanWaterPolo.org. And remember, it's important to stay connected to what's important to you.